difficult campaigns marked by intense battles, harsh conditions, and the resilience of the Roman legions. This is the story of those who marched into the unknown, facing fierce resistance, treacherous landscapes, and an uncertain future. Chapter 1: The Roman Ambition. For the Romans, Germania was both a land of opportunity and a challenge. With the successive campaigns in Gaul and Britannia, Roman leaders set their sights on expanding the empire further northward. However, unlike the Mediterranean world, where Roman legions could march with relative ease, Germania was a vast wilderness populated by fierce and independent tribes. Roman objectives: expansion and security. Roman emperors such as Augustus sought to secure the empire's northern borders, believing that controlling Germania would provide both strategic and economic advantages. Resource extraction. The Germanic lands were rich in resources such as timber, furs, and valuable minerals, making them attractive to Roman expansion. Cultural superiority. Rome, with its advanced infrastructure, civilization, and administration, saw the tribes of Germania as unruly and inferior. Subjugation was viewed as a civilizing mission. Chapter 2: The First Roman Expeditions into Germania. The first serious Roman campaigns into Germania began in the 1st century BCE under Julius Caesar. His conquest of Gaul brought the Roman legions into close proximity to the Germanic tribes, and soon after, Roman soldiers began crossing the Rhine. The challenges of the terrain. Unlike the more familiar landscapes of Gaul and Italy, Germania posed significant difficulties for the Roman legions. Dense forests and swamps. The thick forests of Germania were difficult to navigate, slowing down the legions and preventing the deployment of full-scale military formations. Rivers as barriers and highways. While the Rhine was a natural boundary, it also served as a key strategic asset, allowing Roman legions to cross and invade at strategic points. Lack of infrastructure. Unlike the Roman provinces, Germania lacked paved roads and urban centers, making supply lines vulnerable and difficult to maintain. Initial Roman encounters. Crossing the Rhine. Caesar's first expeditions into Germania included crossing the Rhine to pursue Germanic tribes that had interfered in Roman affairs. The sheer difficulty of crossing the river with large military units was a testament to Roman determination. Roman strategy. Roman legions used their disciplined formations and military discipline to fight against the mobile, guerrilla tactics of the Germanic tribes. However, the Romans struggled to maintain control over the vast, untamed land. Chapter 3: The Catastrophe at Teutoburg Forest. The Roman campaigns reached their peak during the rule of Augustus, when the empire sought to establish a permanent presence in Germania. However, in 9 CE, the Romans faced a catastrophic defeat at the Battle of Teutoburg Forest. The ambush. Roman overconfidence. Governor Varus, leading 3 Roman legions into the heart of Germania, underestimated the capabilities of the tribes. The Romans marched confidently into the dense forests of Teutoburg, unaware that Arminius, a Roman-trained Germanic chieftain, was plotting their destruction. Tactical failure. The Roman legions, used to fighting in open terrain, were caught in a series of ambushes by Arminius's forces. The dense forest and lack of proper reconnaissance made the Romans easy targets. Massacre. Over 3 days, the Germanic tribes decimated the Roman legions, killing nearly 20,000 soldiers and capturing their standards. The loss of the eagle standards, the symbol of Roman military honor, was a devastating blow. The aftermath. The defeat at Teutoburg Forest sent shockwaves through Rome. The Roman Empire, which had never suffered a military humiliation of this scale, was forced to abandon its plans for expansion into Germania. The Rhine became the permanent frontier, and the Roman soldiers who had once marched into Germania with confidence now faced the harsh reality of failure. Chapter 4: The Roman Response. Despite the disaster at Teutoburg, the Romans were not easily deterred. Under the leadership of Germanicus, the empire sought to avenge the loss and restore Roman honor. Germanicus's campaigns, 14 to 16 CE. Retrieving the eagle standards. One of Germanicus's primary objectives was to recover the Roman eagles lost at Teutoburg. His campaigns were characterized by quick, decisive strikes designed to weaken Germanic morale. The Battle of Idistavizo, 16 CE Germanicus successfully defeated Arminius in a pitched battle, reclaiming some of the lost honor. However, the challenges of fighting in Germania persisted, and Roman forces struggled to maintain their momentum. Roman discipline and organization. Despite the tactical victories, the logistical challenges of conducting long campaigns in an unfamiliar land made it clear that Germania could not be fully conquered. Chapter 5. The Life of a Roman Soldier in Germania. Roman soldiers faced some of the most grueling conditions when stationed in Germania. The physical and psychological toll of these campaigns shaped their experiences and their relationship with the land. Living in a harsh environment. Inadequate supplies. Roman soldiers in Germania often faced shortages of food and supplies due to the challenges of maintaining supply lines through hostile territory. This made the legions reliant on local resources, which were frequently destroyed by the Germanic tribes. Climate and terrain. The cold winters and muddy terrain made marches difficult and prolonged. Soldiers lived in makeshift camps and faced constant harassment from Germanic raiders. Mental strain. The Roman soldiers, accustomed to the relative comforts of Roman cities and fortified camps, found themselves in a world of uncertainty. The constant threat of ambush, coupled with the unfamiliar and hostile environment, created a sense of anxiety and frustration. Roman military adaptations. Fortifications. Roman soldiers built temporary forts and watchtowers throughout Germania to establish control over key areas and protect their supply routes. These forts often became centers of Roman influence in the region. Tactics and equipment. Over time, Roman soldiers adapted their tactics to better suit the terrain. They began employing more flexible formations and incorporating Germanic-style cavalry and skirmishers into their ranks. Chapter 6. The Legacy of Roman Soldiers in Germania. The Roman soldiers who ventured into Germania left behind a mixed legacy. While they never fully conquered the land, their efforts to expand the empire reshaped both the Roman military and the tribes they encountered. Cultural exchange. Though they failed to conquer Germania, Roman soldiers interacted with the Germanic tribes in ways that led to cultural exchange. Roman fortifications and roads, though eventually abandoned, influenced the development of Germanic settlements. Roman law, language, and architecture left a lasting mark on the region. The end of Roman expansion. The campaigns in Germania demonstrated the limits of Roman power. While Rome continued to dominate much of the Mediterranean world, the defeat at Teutoburg and the end of Roman expansion. The campaigns in Germania demonstrated the limits of Roman power. While Rome continued to dominate much of the Mediterranean world, the defeat at Teutoburg and the challenges of the Germanic campaigns signaled that even the mightiest empire could be challenged by fierce and resilient peoples. Rome's eventual decision to fortify its borders and focus on defense rather than expansion marked the end of its ambitions to conquer Germania. Epilogue. The resilience of Roman soldiers. Though the Roman legions never fully subdued Germania, their legacy in the region lives on. The discipline, tactics, and organizational skills of the Roman soldiers influenced the military cultures of the Germanic tribes, who would go on to establish their own kingdoms on the ruins of Rome. The journey of the Roman soldiers into Germania was not just one of military conquest but also one of adaptation, survival, and resilience. They faced the unknown with determination, and though they failed in their ultimate goal, their presence and influence in Germania would continue to shape the future of Europe. Would you like to explore more on the impact of the Roman soldiers on the Germanic tribes, or delve deeper into a specific event or aspect of their journey? Let me know. Banda NOI. Teep. ChatGPT to NOI. ChatGPT. Chapter 7. The Roman soldiers' impact on Germanic warfare and culture. Though the Roman Empire ultimately failed to conquer Germania, the presence of Roman soldiers and their military practices left a lasting impact on the Germanic tribes. Roman military innovations and interactions with the Germanic peoples altered the way warfare was conducted and influenced cultural exchange between the two. Influence on Germanic military tactics. After centuries of skirmishing and occasional large-scale battles, the Germanic tribes began to incorporate Roman military tactics into their own warfare. Although the tribe's style of fighting, characterized by fierce raids, ambushes, and guerrilla tactics, remained dominant, They learned to adapt elements of Roman discipline and formations. Cavalry and the Roman influence. Roman cavalry tactics, which were central to Roman legions, were particularly influential. The Germanic tribes started using heavier cavalry in their campaigns and incorporated more disciplined formations to combat the Romans. Siege warfare. The Romans were experts in siege tactics, and some Germanic tribes, such as the Visigoths under Alaric, adopted these methods during their own sieges of Roman cities, like during the sack of Rome in 410 CE. The tactical lessons learned from Romans, especially Roman knowledge of fortifications, military camps, and logistical organization, were slowly integrated into the Germanic way of warfare. These adaptations contributed to their successes when they later turned their sights on the Roman Empire itself. Chapter 8. The Germanic Kingdoms and the Roman Influence. After the fall of the Western Roman Empire, many of the Germanic tribes who had resisted Roman rule went on to establish their own kingdoms within the former borders of the empire. These kingdoms, though Germanic in their roots, adopted many Roman customs, laws, and administrative systems. Roman law and governance. The Germanic kings, such as Clovis of the Franks and Theodoric the Great of the Ostrogoths, took inspiration from Roman law and governance. Clovis, for instance, adopted Roman legal principles to solidify his rule and integrate his newly conquered Roman subjects. Codifying laws. Clovis's conversion to Christianity and his alliance with the Church helped cement the Franks' legitimacy and, in turn, their adoption of Roman legal traditions. The Salic Law.